You'd better buckle up for Skip versus Ernestine. This is round 19, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I'm Skip from Oklahoma City. She's Ernestine from New York. This is New York City. I'm sorry. Apologize. Okay. We're already into it. This is Crazy Hazel, who runs the show and our household. I don't care what anybody thinks. I let Hazel lick me in the face. No,
he does.
She won't do it. She's mad at me today.
She'll do it sooner than later.
Ernestine says she doesn't let Hazel lick her in the face, but she's lying because she does.
No,
Trust me, I've seen it.
She'll lick me on the cheek and maybe on the nose, but never do I just let her sit there for minutes licking my face.
We will get to your questions, your comments in just a moment, because they are the backbone and the lifeblood of our discussions and our debates. But first up, we go at it over an argument she started on Friday night during the Auburn-Michigan March Madness college basketball game that we were watching. She was sort of watching. Now, she's brought this up before, and I thought I'd ended this argument, but this time she was more wildly, dismissively opinionated than ever on the subject of college players being paid. Okay, so now you're on TV.
I'm going to say this
Fire
again.
away.
I've said it once before.
Okay.
We talked about this once before.
Yeah.
I just have no idea why they have to be paid this enormous amount of money. It really kills me.
Because
sorry.
an enormous amount of people are watching
you have
them.
these,
They're
I'm
entertainers.
watching these games, and these kids, they're just kids, which is fine, are playing this game that some of them don't even know what they're doing. I mean, some of them, it's just like, it's Mickey Mouse, okay?
The ones who don't know what they're doing aren't getting paid, trust me.
They're not getting paid anything?
Maybe here and there. But,
yeah, but here and there to you is,
but
I say to you, how much are they making? Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. I have friends that are, they're scientists, they're researching AIDS and cancer, and they're making $100,000 if they're lucky a year. And these kids are making millions of dollars. Do you think that they know the value of millions of dollars versus what the real world is like out there? People that work in regular jobs, which I've worked in a regular job my whole life. I wasn't making millions of dollars. People that go to work in drugstores and grocery stores and the backbone of this world that keeps this world going, they're not making millions of dollars.
And none of those people can play high-level college basketball.
Oh, please. They're bouncing a ball. And yeah, that's what they're doing. And they're getting paid millions of dollars. They're 18 and 19 years old. So how many are actually drafted in the NBA?
Okay, well, that's a good point. But I told you, I pointed out Auburn star Johni Broome, and I said he's probably making, I don't know, $1 million.
Okay, $1 million. Now, what if somebody doesn't get drafted and they're making a lot of money as a college basketball player?
Are people paying to watch them play?
Okay, but
are they selling out stadiums or arenas to watch them play?
They're making astronomical amounts of money, and then they leave college, and not everybody is going to be drafted, okay? Then they're back in the real world.
They might be drafted. They might not make it. They might not live up.
Okay, so they're sitting on the sidelines.
Okay.
Then they go back in the real world, and how do you go from making millions of dollars to making $15 minimum wage in a job?
Well, that would be life if that's what life dealt you.
I think that would be life, but that's going to be a rude awakening because they think this is the real world, which it's not the real world.
Okay.
I'd say the minimal amount of people, I don't know what the percentage is, are making millions of dollars a year. Most of the people that are just doing normal jobs, 9-to-5 jobs, even more, I did more than a 9-to-5 job. I lived in my office, and I was not making $1 million a year.
Okay, but you couldn't play high-level college
No, but I'm working as a senior vice president at a public relations agency, and I'm not making millions of dollars a year.
Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, played quarterback the last 2 years for Colorado in Boulder, and they sold out every single game, and they were must-watch on TV, and their ratings were through the roof.
They could make some money. Give them a salary, but not $1 million.
Okay, he's making $3 million, and he should be the first pick in the draft. I think he's going to be the third pick in the draft, and he's going to make a lot of money.
Okay, so
because he's worth it.
He's worth it to who?
To people who love sports. You don't love sports.
No, but do you think it's fair that some 18-year-old kid is going to be making millions of dollars because he can get a ball into a basket?
Okay. Do you know how many of those 18-year-olds, 19, 20, 21-year-olds in the past tore up their knees playing for dear old you, and it wrecked their
But that's
ability to
the
make
chance you
millions in
take.
pro
I mean,
basketball?
that's why NFL players get concussions and they know going into playing football, there's a chance. So high school kids, they play football on the field and they wreck their knees too. So I just don't think, I say give them some money. I just don't think they should be making millions. Give them, $20 an hour.
Okay. Should a child actor make millions to play a role?
Entertainment,
Because all he's
to me,
doing, he or
different.
she,
Yeah.
they're just impersonating somebody that they aren't.
Different world.
And just because
Different
of that,
world.
why is it
Yeah.
a different world?
It is a
Same
different
idea.
world.
It's entertainment.
No,
you're
come
watching
on.
them
This
because
is
you're entertained by them.
entertainment. For how many years has really there been basketball being played? You're going to tell me from the cavemen days?
James Naismith and the Peach Baskets? I don't know.
Movies have been being made, silent movies, okay? It's entertainment.
But that was like in
so
the
you're going to tell me they
20s, the
played
teens?
basketball back when Lillian Gish
You know
was
what?
a 20s silent?
They played basketball before there were movies. They were. They were. Okay, so
Listen.
what? Okay, they're just child actors and they're making millions. Macaulay Culkin for Home Alone or whatever his next movies were.
These movies are making billions of dollars at a box office, okay? They're making a lot
Same
of money.
idea.
No, it's not. This is a
Do you know how
college
many-
kid who in 4 years, if he doesn't get picked, he's out.
Do you know how many billions got paid for this March Madness package by these networks?
Because
by
people
CBS
feed into
and
it.
TNT
Because
and
feeding into it and making these college kids stars. Because that's what this whole world, this industry of this March Madness thing that is insane, that you say you could have Hazel pick who's going to win, because that's really the science to it.
that's the beauty of it. That's the attraction to it. That's the intrigue.
So
Nobody can pick it. And we watch because it's the ultimate reality TV because we don't know who's going to win.
Listen, it sickens me to know that people are trying to cure diseases and they can't make a quarter of
And the
what these
Macaulay
kids are.
Culkins are making millions
It's
to make
different.
movies. That
It's
sickens
different.
me too then.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it doesn't.
So here's what sickened me on Friday night. I had
Yeah.
an out of body experience on the couch as we're watching this game. I'm trying to get through it because I've got to watch because it's my job to watch.
Right.
And my wife is picking me to pieces over an argument that has been a pet stance of mine for like 40 years. Since my earliest days in newspapers, I've written columns about how college kids deserve to be paid.
Well, I didn't know you then, because I would have
Okay.
been saying the same thing to you back then that I say now.
Okay,
They don't
I know,
deserve it.
but my point is, it's my field of expertise, and I have believed this with all my heart and soul, and it finally came to pass. There's a thing called NIL, and there's a transfer portal, and all of a sudden, college kids are free to make just about what the market will bear for them to make, which is supply and demand. It's called America, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
America, right. So where is it that some kid for 4 years he can make $4, $5, $8 million
He might,
for 4 years?
yeah.
Then he leaves and he's not drafted, and then he's going to be set out in this real world of
Okay, but if
the
you're making
reality
that
of
much
it.
money in college, you're going to be drafted because you're going to be really good because you already were very good, or you wouldn't be making that kind of money. It's
Okay.
going to be rare for somebody to make a lot of money in college and then not get drafted at all. They might fail in
they could be a
pro.
bust.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's life. That's
So you don't think that
supply
it sets
and
them
demand.
up for there's a falseness there that this is what the real world is now,
For
that
some
you're going to be
kids.
making millions for the rest of your life?
Okay, but Shadur Sanders grew up with some money because he
Well,
was
but
Deion's
that's a different
son,
case. He's
and he's
Deion's
fine.
son.
And I would actually draft him, liking the fact that he was making $3 million already, because I wouldn't have to worry about him suddenly coming into some money and blowing it
But
off the field.
Look at the ball kids.
Yeah.
The ball kids.
Okay.
They got into some problems. There was some problems. You
Not
don't
really.
think that some. What do you mean? Wasn't one of the ball kids? Didn't he have a law problem? Something. There
Okay,
was
the
something.
one who wound up not playing rapping, and he's been
Yeah.
very good at rapping.
Yeah.
He had an issue where they shoplifted something in
Yeah.
China or something.
you
It was
don't think-
ridiculous. It was
Back in the day, when
Okay.
I said this before, when I was friends with Mike Piazza's manager,
yeah.
he said to me,
Former
"When you
baseball
give
player.
Well, I think
way
people
before
know who
people saw
Mike
him.
Piazza is. He's only a Hall of Famer, right?
But he didn't deserve to
Okay.
make money because he wasn't curing cancer, right?
He deserved the money. He didn't play. It wasn't college. He was playing in the big leagues.
I know, but
Yeah.
why would you pay him that much money
Because that's
to
real.
entertain
Okay.
people?
But what the
He
manager
could
said
have
to
been a
me,
teacher or a doctor,
it's a
right?
different thing. But okay, what the manager said to me was, I have to be their father because all of a sudden they're making so much money and they're getting into problems because they're making all this money.
That differs from kid to kid. Some can handle it, some can't, to your point. But some child actors, what happened to Macaulay Culkin? Didn't he kind of go over the
he's
edge?
fine now. But,
he's fine
but,
now.
But the problem is, to me, I do not see, I think Hazel agrees with me.
Yeah.
I think they can make some money, but I don't think they should be making millions. My 2 cents.
Yeah, she agrees with me. She's picking me once
Listen,
again.
they're going to be making the money whether or not I like it, so it really is
here's
pointless.
what got me. I'm sitting there on the couch having this out-of-body experience thinking, my wife is clashing with me and you wouldn't back off. You just come harder and harder at me. And I'm thinking, if we were talking about a field in which you have expertise, like fashion, if you'd come in wearing this outfit, which I like a lot,
thank you,
and you came in and I suddenly said, that doesn't work. That clashes. It just, and you said, no, it worked great. Well, I'm not going to hang in there and start fighting you about, no, this is a little different black than this is black. And I don't like the pinstripes with the pattern. It doesn't go together. I'm not going to say that, but what if I did? It would drive you nuts because you'd say, and you know fashion? I know fashion a little bit, but I don't know fashion the way you know fashion.
But then it's not the same thing.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Because this is blatant in your face. We're watching the game and I say, how much is he making? I don't know. He's making not that much, maybe $1 million. Not that much. I mean, I don't even know. Do people not know the value of money?
Millions of people are watching him perform his art, and it is an art form.
Maybe it's an art. I say give him a little bit less. Give him some money, enough to live like people make money.
Okay.
You don't have to go to the millions.
Okay. So Lil Wayne can rap. He can write and he can rap. And he's really good at it. And a whole lot of people are highly entertained and enlightened.
He deserves as much money as he can make, Wayne.
Okay. So
he's not some 18-year-old kid putting a ball in a basket.
I know, but when he was like 12, he was making a lot of money.
He's still
in New Orleans.
He has a major talent. He has a God-given talent.
Okay.
Wayne.
So does that Janai Bloom.
And then they stand there crying when they lose.
So does Cooper Flagg.
And then they cry.
Okay.
They're so evolved. They're crying while they're taking a check for $1 million.
It's called one and done, and this is it.
What do they care? They're still taking the money to the bank.
Okay, but they care about winning, and so they get tears in their eyes, or if their career has ended.
You got $1 million coming into your pocket.
Those kids you see crying,
and you're worrying about them crying?
They're usually not the ones making the money.
How much are they making?
Probably none.
Oh.
But they did get room, board, and tuition, right?
They
got a full scholarship.
It's a lost cause. It really is. Whatever. They're going to still be making millions with it, not whether or not I like it.
Okay, this is the first comment from this is a YouTube comment from @KeithKramer8194. Skip met his match at debate. Ernestine is a breathtakingly beautiful woman.
Thank you. Oh, so sweet.
She agrees.
Thank you.
Whom I admire because she is strong in her beliefs and is full of common sense. That's debatable.
That's so sweet.
Much love to both of you.
So
we thank you very much for that comment. But I don't know if I've met my match. I think I've met my match in stubborn. I'll give you that, but not in common sense. Because if you had common sense, you would say, I don't even belong in this argument.
Common sense? You think common sense is going to sit here and watch these kids cry when they lose their game and they're getting $1 million in the bank?
You have never gotten over Adam Morrison. I don't know if people out there remember. He was crybaby for Gonzaga.
I know. It's in the brain. It's tattooed.
They lost.
And he's sitting there crying his eyes out. But he wasn't getting paid.
I was doing a show in Miami, and I was writing a column that night for ESPN.com on a Thursday night. It was a Thursday night, so they lost in like the regional final, I think it was. And you had the game on, and Adam Morrison's on the floor crying, and the game's not even over yet.
It's terrible, but he didn't even get paid.
Never got over it. He didn't get paid, and he got paid thanks to Michael Jordan, who picked him in the draft, and he was a complete swing and miss for Michael Jordan.
But he didn't get paid, so.
Okay, Now, here's another comment from @JoeLighthouse1745 from YouTube. Hoping to control your wife when taping a show seems over the top and excessive. Joe, I don't try to control my wife. She's uncontrollable.
But that's the whole point of the show.
Okay,
We're supposed to talk.
I welcome her opinion. I don't often agree with her opinion, but I welcome her. I give her full stage to go on as long as she wants to state her case.
That's the whole point of this
show. What we do, but I'm not trying to
control,
muzzle her.
But then what would be the point of the show?
Okay.
I'm going to sit here not saying anything.
All right.
What would that point of us being on a show?
The point is I can't control my wife, especially on the show.
The point of
I can't control my wife in real life.
The point of the show is to discuss things. So what would I'm going to sit here and not say anything?
I don't try to control my wife in any way, shape, or form.
Control anybody.
Okay, let's get to our first question, email question. This is from Chris Bianco from Scottsdale, Arizona. And we're not sure about this, but this could be the Chris Bianco who's a famous chef known for his world's greatest pizza. If it is,
we love pizza.
So Chris Bianco asks, and I quote, Skip, are you a jealous guy? Do you have a problem with Ernestine having male friends? Love your takes. You are the MJ of your profession. Thank you, Chris Bianco. I hope you're the pizza Chris Bianco.
Buttering you up with that last comment.
I know. Well, I had to get that in there because I deserve, after you stepped all over my claim to fame argument that college players should be paid. Okay. Am I a jealous guy? I am zero jealous guy.
You're no jealous of anything. Maybe you're jealous of if another little dog likes Hazel.
No,
you're jealous.
That's not true.
She won't be around as much.
But look, you always say, what's to be jealous of? All my friends are gay.
Well, I have a lot of gay guy friends, and I have a lot of straight guy friends.
Okay, you do have a lot of straight guy friends, and I never say a word about it because I'm not threatened by your straight guy friends.
No, but there's a difference when you keep in touch with your old girlfriends.
Okay,
that's the jealousy
I'm never going to
thing.
get over it, and I cut the tie.
Right, but who cares? You cut the tie, it happened. The jealousy is only if you're still with somebody that you're keeping in touch with an old boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh.
These are my friends.
If you did keep in touch with an old boyfriend, I wouldn't care.
Well,
we've run into your...
It's hard to...
but if you kept in touch with him, I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, but
we ran into one of your old boyfriends at Italy out here in L.A., and
that was a million years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So?
Well... Okay, so you had a relationship with him.
Yeah, but I don't keep in touch with him.
Okay, but it didn't threaten me because you were intimate with him, right? Okay.
Yeah, but. You don't have a jealous bone in your body.
I don't have. Thank you. I don't have a jealous bone, and yet, do you know how many times you come home from some shopping excursion somewhere, or running errands, and you say, I was at the gas station and I met this guy and he was so handsome and he was such a nice guy and he was talking about blah, blah, blah. If I did that in reverse, if I came home and said, hey, I was walking Hazel at the mall and I met this woman, she was a knockout. As soon as I say that, I would be done. It would be history. You wouldn't speak to me the rest of the night. It's true.
That is not.
I could not get away with saying that. And you tell me that every time. I think you're trying to make me jealous.
No, it's just the way
it irritates you that I don't get jealous.
I don't do that as a play. I don't make up fictitious. Oh, I met this guy.
I don't think you make it up. But he's like, he was so handsome.
I always describe people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everybody you meet is so handsome.
Well, we live in L.A. The whole world out here is handsome.
That explains it. And I don't care. I'm good with it because I'm secure in my place in this relationship.
Okay, good.
And yet, I've always told you, if you found somebody else and that's what you wanted, I'd say, God bless. Because
and vice versa.
Okay. But I haven't. I won't. And I'm banking on the fact that you haven't and you won't.
I haven't yet. So I think that's a good sign.
It's still out there. So you want to keep me just on edge just to make sure that maybe I'd be a little jealous of you. Thank you.
Well, you still have Hazel licking you, so don't worry about it. Get a room.
Hazel,
get a room.
You're jealous of me and Hazel, I know.
Yeah.
I don't care if she licks me in the
Hazel
face.
says, don't worry, you got me.
Look, she's happy, Hazel.
She's happy.
We always say she's happy, Hazel, when
she's she's
happy.
happy. She says,
she's happy panting. I think she's panting because it's a little hot.
No, it's not hot. She says, I'm enjoying this conversation.
You having a good time?
She says, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. An escalating issue. Here's another one for you. No. This is something I hear constantly about, is how since COVID, all you see out here in LA are random acts of unkindness.
Oh, yeah.
Unkindness, so the floor is
I
yours.
just think, my 2 cents again, since COVID, I think people have become more, they're just not rotten, but they don't care about people. They don't care about the little things that would just come naturally to somebody, like holding the door for someone. If you go to the grocery store, holding the door, they let the door slam. Or my sister works in an office and patients come in and they're just rude. They just talk to her as though she's just a non-person. People don't have any, they don't know what kindness is anymore. I think that's a big thing. And what blew me away was I was at the gas station on Saturday and I was filling.
Here we go.
Here we go.
He was handsome.
He was handsome. I don't know. He was.
Yeah.
I was filling the gas in my car. Normally, I have gloves because I don't like to get my hands dirty by touching the gas pump. So I didn't have the gloves in that car. So I took paper towels and I was holding it. And this man was getting his gas right next to me. And all of a sudden, he walked
you said
over.
He was a black guy.
He was a handsome
black man.
Yes. He came over and he said, here, I just wanted, here you go. Yeah. And he looked and he gave me a wet nap cloth.
Oh, that's very nice. That was a random act of kindness. Yeah.
And I was so taken aback. And I said, thank you so very much. And then he said, no problem. And then he pulled away. I said, thank you again for being so kind. And he said, my pleasure. Have a nice day.
Did you get his number?
No. He said, I'll see you here next week, Saturday, same time.
Same time Saturday.
But that was something that to me was a kind thing.
I agree.
I've done kind things for people.
Do.
I've been at the grocery store and they had all the construction workers, they were working, and the guy forgot his wallet and he bought a soda and I was behind him and he said, oh God, I don't have my wallet. I said, I'm going to treat you to the soda. I've done that.
I didn't know that one, but that's a good one.
I mean,
okay,
why not?
All right.
But people don't have that in them anymore.
No.
That's what I find.
So when we walk her at the Century City Mall on Saturday afternoons, packed with people, walking dogs, and a lot of tourists. Yeah. And tourists occasionally will ask her, because she's the mayor of that mall, she knows everything about that mall, every shopkeeper, every location. And it's a little complex because it's just 2 floors,
two
I
levels.
guess. 2
third
levels.
level is the gym.
Yeah, okay, 3rd level. And Italy still has 3rd level.
Yeah.
But a tourist can say, hey,
well, I see them if they're looking, but they look like they're looking around and they don't know. I always go up to them and say, hey, I know this mall. Can I help you try to find something?
And if needed, she will leave us to take them by the hand and take them where they need to go.
That, to me, is something that you're helping somebody out. I mean, I just think that it's something nice to do for people, but people don't do anything nice anymore for people.
Okay. And you think it started with COVID?
I think it was since after COVID. I think people they ended up getting just rotten. I don't know, maybe from being isolated and maybe feeling as though you got me sick. I was okay.
That's true.
I think that there's a resentment
I agree.
Against people.
I see the backlash of that in road rage driving out here in LA. I had a terrible one on that, but
I whipped out the gun.
He was completely psycho. Guy pulled the gun on me.
That's crazy.
In road rage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Came walking toward my car at a stoplight.
That was a bad scene.
Yeah. The point is, I don't know if he knew who I was, quote unquote, or not. I don't know. But it was almost like he was devil sent.
I don't think he knew who you were. I think he just was a nut. Demon.
He was a nut.
Yeah.
And yet we argue about you hate the drivers out here because you say they're bad drivers. They're actually very good, skilled drivers. They're very good at controlling their cars, but they if I can pardon my language, they're mostly assholes. And
they're not good drivers.
Men or women,
they throw away rules.
They just cut in front of you without apology.
And I walk a lot, and when I'm walking, and if I have a green light to walk, They don't care. They
No.
just keep going. And I'm like, do you not see me walking? They have no consideration for somebody who walks. They turn in the middle of the street, in the middle of where you're not supposed to be turning around to do a U-turn.
They do.
They pull around right in front of you while you're driving. If you're at a red light and you're waiting for the light to turn green and the light turns green, they honk before you can even get your foot on the gas from the brake. So they're just insane. But that goes with the whole rudeness.
So are all the New York City cab drivers.
I'd rather be a New York City cab driver.
But it's like everybody here is a New York City cab driver. Everybody on the
without
road
the
is
skill. Yeah.
I do think they're skilled, but I'm sort of stereotyping skill.
Oh, and how many times do you call me and you're coming home from somewhere? Do you believe what this guy just did? You and I say to you, it's L.A. Why do you think they call it L.A. with crazy drivers?
There'll be 3 lanes of packed traffic, of gridlock traffic, and some guy will try to enter into the right lane and then keep honking and just cut through lane after lane after lane so he can go all the way into the 4th lane, the left turn lane, to make a left turn, which becomes a U-turn. And I'm like, the audacity of that, the balls that took.
And what do I say? Welcome to L.A. That's what I say to you all the time. But the act of, unkindness, I think it's just now. You have to accept people are not going to be nice to you.
They're not even random anymore. They're consistent.
No, that's just consistent. Yeah. So that's my beef.
Okay. Next question is from a dedicated viewer in Chicago. This is Rachel, who asked, thank you, Hazel. You two always look great on camera. Thank you, Rachel.
So nice.
What are your quote-unquote beauty secrets? God. Do you have beauty secrets?
I have beauty secrets. I don't have any plastic surgery.
No, she has no plastic. Neither of us have any plastic surgery.
I get Botox.
She gets Botox.
Much, but I get a little bit in there.
I don't get Botox like she gets Botox, but I get it about every 6 or so months.
Yeah, but you don't
just through my crow's feet up
but you
here.
don't do. People always say you have Botox on your forehead. You don't have Botox on your forehead.
I don't ever have Botox on my forehead.
Those are real
I only
lines. You get by the
3
corner of your
sticks
eye.
right
that's
there,
it.
and that's it that I ever get every 6 months.
I don't know. I just take my makeup off every night.
Okay. I do believe this, as self-righteous as this might sound. We're not perfect, but we really care about what we eat. And I think you are what you eat in 1,000 ways. It manifests itself. Whatever you put in will come out in the way of your appearance.
Your skin. And
your skin. And her best friend's a dermatologist in New York, so we do have, thank you. Mm-hmm. We have the advantage. She licks my skin. It makes it better.
Yeah, that's what you think.
I do think that, actually.
It doesn't.
Because I think she's reincarnation of your mom.
No, you don't forget
she licks her privates and she licks my face.
Right.
I get it. Okay.
But anyway, you are what you eat.
All right. You just are. Right? So and not only do we eat okay, I don't think we eat great, but we eat,
I eat great.
Pretty well. There's some things you eat that I wouldn't eat.
Foods.
No,
I don't eat fried foods. I don't eat meat. I don't eat fowl.
No, I do eat fowl.
I don't do caffeine.
FOWL.
No. I gave up caffeine long ago. I only drink caffeine-free tea and Saratoga or carbonated water. Okay. I don't drink sodas.
You'll eat those Weight Watchers pizzas,
Weight Watcher pizza.
And you'll eat them like 3 or 4 times a week.
No, I don't eat them 3 times. No? I eat once or twice. Okay. Twice is if I can't find anything else to eat, I'll eat that. I eat it once a week.
Okay. And I cheat with my slice or 2 of pizza, depending on what.
But we don't. But I don't know. I also like I like these under eye things that you put under your eye. I just discovered them a while back. You put them under your eye. They depuff your eye. So you just put these gel things under your eye and you wear them for 15, 20 minutes and then it takes I love them.
Okay. And I also believe with all my heart and soul in cardio fitness that you have to walk or run or bike or whatever you do for your cardio. It's magic because it sets up your metabolism, and your metabolism is everything.
Yeah. Because
it's going to burn calories and it's going to de-age you. It's going to keep you a little younger looking than you should look.
Well, for me, the walking, though, also de-stresses me.
Okay.
That's my way of de-stressing.
Okay.
But I don't have boobs. I don't have a fake boob. No. I don't have a fake butt. I don't have a fake nose.
No.
Lord knows that.
I'm all real.
Good
except
and bad.
For a little filler here and there.
No, not filler, Botox.
Just Botox.
Just Botox, no
filler.
You look
good.
Oh, thanks. And you too.
And some you just look good with or without Botox. You just,
Well, it helps just.
it's because you lead a healthy lifestyle. I think that's important. And you spend a fortune on your hair, which is a whole nother issue.
That's from the hair ruining. When they ruin my hair, then I have to get it blown straight. But soon I'm going to make the attempt to let it go natural again, which is going to be wavy.
Really?
Yeah, I love my wavy hair. Oh. It's just they ruined my hair. They flat ironed my hair at a high heat where my hair was burned and it was coming out. So the only way I could try to let it grow back and be normal again is by getting it blown without flattened, because otherwise it looked like Brillo from the girl who burned my hair, which thank you very much.
Really?
Welcome to LA.
You want to call her out? No.
Yeah, if I call her out, I may beat her up. But
yeah, she may sue you too, but that's okay.
Yeah. And she also ruined my sister's hair and my friend's hair. So
okay. And I do get some color and some highlights put in my hair because
but that's almost your regular color.
It's close. It is close. And
you can't stop aging, so that's the whole problem.
You know what? Your mother used to say
my mother would say, nobody can stop the aging. Everybody gets older. Yeah. And that is the truth, whether you like it or not. And my mother would also say, when she was 90, not a lot of people get to live to be my age, so that's the most important thing.
But one thing I got going for me is she often sees somebody older than me on television, and you often say, he looks so good, and he'll be like Mick Jagger, and you'll say, God. He looks so good.
Great.
And I'm like, I got a shot then, right?
Yeah, Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
Don Henley. I mean, I can go down the, Pacino.
Al Pacino. He looks pretty weather beaten to me.
I don't care. I still love Pacino. De Niro.
We're going to talk about Marty Scorsese in a minute.
I love Scorsese.
But he looked pretty terrible.
No, I think he looks good. He's still Scorsese.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Hazel still likes me. So, and she just made me a little younger.
Right. Yeah, the potion. The Ponce de Leon serum.
It is. Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
Next question is from Justin from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. By the way, the new home of Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend. We'll get to that in just a moment. Question, Ernestine, last week you were very open about losing your self-identity. Do you think Skip has or hasn't done enough to help you find yourself again?
No. Okay. I don't think he's helped me find myself again because he can't help being...
I didn't know she'd lost herself.
Yeah, I did. I'm still trying to find myself.
Okay, well, this was news to me in last week's episode. I didn't know that you had lost your self-identity.
Oh, please. That's because you're too busy with yourself. You're too wrapped up in your world. That's true. So you don't see what's out there.
I didn't know you felt like you feared that you were becoming Mrs. Skip Bayless as opposed to Ernestine Sclafani.
No, I'm not. So that's the mission in my life is to get back to being just me again. Even though I'm still with you, it doesn't matter. But yeah, you can't help me that much because you still are connected and you are you. So you can't disconnect. But it's just about the outside perspective of people looking at me. That's what has to be changed.
Here's what gets me about your issue in this question.
Yeah.
Again, I was completely unaware. Maybe that's my fault.
Well, you don't notice a lot of things because you're watching a lot of games.
I am. That
is your games. Thing. The house could be on fire, and true. I could come. There have been earthquakes, and I will come into his room where he's watching, and I will say, "Did you just feel that? Feel what? There was an earthquake." No, because you are just in another world, which is nice. It's a very nice world you live in. But then when I tell you, hey, the refrigerator broke or the blah, 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 when did that happen? Because I can't tell you because you're too involved in your game. So
these
things are falling down around.
I know, but these college kids are providing such escape for me
so
that they
worth
deserve
millions of
$5
That's
million,
true.
Right?
Give them two.
I'm so escaped that I don't even know.
Give them $3 million, please.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. But the point is, to me, I've known a lot of people in my time. I don't know that you could find any husband out there who gives his wife more space than I give you.
But to a fault sometimes, because maybe. There is the space. I mean,
but I don't.
We have very different lives.
I don't demand. I don't.
No, but occasionally it would be nice for someone to say, the husband, hey, what are you doing? What do you got going on?
I say that all the time.
You say it as you're walking.
What did you do today?
You say it as you're walking.
Passed?
The door is hitting you in the back. What'd you do today? And I just don't even say anything. All
I'll
I do is I
accept
go
that.
like this. Mm-hmm. And then that's good enough. And then I just call my sister and I say, oh, well, I'll tell you what I did today. Because
Her poor
okay.
sister gets,
Yeah.
you just dump
she
all
took over
over.
where my mother.
I know.
My mother was the go-to. My mother was the go-to. And she sided with you a lot. But my mother was the
I think
go-to.
your sister sides with
My
me.
sister sides with you too. A lot.
Because they're smart and they
Yeah,
see
right,
the big picture that you should be more grateful
Right, be
than you are for
grateful
what
and-
you have. Because
I'm not to be grateful for anything.
domineering, I'm not controlling, I'm not demanding.
Sometimes that would be nice,
I know.
you know.
So you want me to be domineering?
Not domineering.
No,
that,
you can't go out. You got to stay here.
Not that. A little bit more aware. I'm saying aware of the other person and what they're going through and what they're living through.
Okay.
That maybe you're not
All right.
aware because you're so engulfed in. Wait, I got 7 Lakers games this week. I've got 6. We got the concubine or whatever it's called. What is that called? What is that called? Where they race?
The combine. Now it's the concubine. They're very different things. The concubine
Right.
and the combine. Okay. The NFL concubine, it's actually passed. We already did that. But we got the draft coming up.
The draft.
Okay. The concubine was last month. Okay. I was glued to the NFL concubine because it was just fascinating. It was kind of R-rated. It's actually X-rated, but whatever. Okay. You have coined a new term,
God.
the NFL concubine. Okay. Yeah.
I
we
knew
did
it had
do
something
that.
to do with CON.
Yeah. Well, we got the draft coming up,
Yeah,
and you'll
well, you'll-
love that.
yeah,
I'll be
that's
all over
another-
that one.
3-4 days holed up
is.
in your room that I don't see you.
That is true. Okay. By the way, speaking of Bill Belichick, here's a comment, YouTube
concubine.
comment from he was at the he wasn't actually at the NFL concubine this year. This is from @GarfieldGG, who says age gap appropriateness is half your age plus 7.
I never heard of that.
And Belichick isn't doing it because he's trying to be a better college coach. He's doing it because he's gross, or as Skip would say, a scoundrel. And the girl is doing it for promo and to live a lavish lifestyle.
Probably true.
Okay, I don't know if we want to open this can of
No.
worms again, but I'm intrigued by the comment because I still think Belichick is using her as a recruiting tool to put him on the YouTube map, the TikTok map,
I
the
don't.
kids map,
No.
the 17 and 18-year-olds map that, Coach Belichick, he's still got his
I don't think
fastball.
so at
He's
all.
got a hot chick.
I think that is the furthest thing from his thoughts. He's just so happy that this girl, 24-year-old girl, is caring about him, so to speak.
so to speak.
Whatever.
I guess.
That's all
Is
I
she
got.
doing it for promotion? And
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, it seems to be working for now. I don't know how long
God
it's going to
bless them.
last
God
because
bless
usually
them.
these things don't last that long,
Right.
but maybe, who knows?
God
Sometimes
bless
I'm
them.
surprised. Okay, it is now time for Skip and Ernestine go to the movies. Hazel goes with us because
No. Oh,
we go
yeah.
to the movies while we're on the couch
Yeah, we
for
go
the
to-
most part. We don't go to the theater
All
very
that
often.
much.
No, not
I want to
much
see that
anymore.
Jason Statham.
Do you?
movie. Oh
Okay.
yeah, love him.
I forget what it's called, but it's another one of those beekeeper type
Oh
movies.
my God,
Yeah.
The Working Man. No.
I think it is. I
Working
believe that's
Man or
right.
something like that.
She loves him.
I
And why does
love
she
him.
love him? Because he's
Oh,
hot.
he's so.
He's hot.
You love him too.
He's getting a little
You got
long in the tooth. Like,
you got a man crush on
I
him.
don't actually on him. I don't. But
Really?
I just like his style. I like his presence.
We've always loved him from way back.
He's just a good badass.
He's great.
He is.
He's right
I mean,
up
I
there with
believe
Keanu
him
Reeves.
as a badass.
And Keanu Reeves right up there
Yeah.
with John Wick.
As John Wick.
Yeah. But Jason is great. Anyway.
Okay, this week we are going to review the Reacher finale, the first 2 episodes of The Studio on Apple Plus,
Best.
and the new Travolta movie called High Rollers, or maybe we should call it Low Rollers. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a moment. Let's start with Reacher, the finale. You go first.
He's just larger than life.
Literally larger than life.
I mean, he's so big, but he's not really that big because when I looked up his height, he's what,
6'3".
6'3", but he really comes off bigger. But
I don't know if he uses steroids, but it sure looks like it because he
got-
doesn't look
I don't
human.
know. He's human. He's almost like the Hulk.
Yeah.
right? Huge. But
But
anyway,
he ends up fighting a guy who's much bigger than he
how tall
is.
is he? 7'2"? I think he was 7'2".
7'2", and he's a bodybuilder, a 7'2" bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And they engage in the longest fight in the history
God.
of
It was
cinematic fights.
If anybody ever watched Talladega Nights, when they cut and they're watching, and then the commercial, the cars are flipping, and then they
the
go
two cars are flipping.
Yeah, and they cut
and
to
they
a
go
commercial.
to commercial, and they come back, and they're
right,
still
and they're
flipping.
still flipping. That's what this was like. This was like I could have gone inside, made my meal, come back, and they were still in the middle of fighting.
Yeah.
And nobody is getting hurt, which I kind of like because I don't like people getting hurt.
I know, but they're
it was
just
cartoony,
bashing each other in the
picking
face
up
with
little,
objects.
yeah, with heavy machinery. and he just gets up, and he's not. His t-shirt's not even dirty.
Yeah.
It's not even ripped.
Reacher got beat up in the face.
A little bit, but he was up. He just
they even
sprung back.
fall off a cliff into the ocean and go to the bottom of the ocean fighting. And then you think Reacher somehow hit him in the throat with some karate move or something.
I don't know how that happened under the
then
water.
Then he falls to the bottom of the ocean dead, you think. The bad guy does. And then Reacher's walking back to the house on a lonesome road, and he looks behind him, and here comes the 7'2" guy.
It was like, oh, God.
He is undeniable, unkillable, right?
But it was good. It was good. I would have to say
Reacher ends up having to trick him. I won't give it away to beat him.
Yeah.
I still don't understand
and
exactly
Anthony Michael Hall is in it, who was really good. I love him from
who was
all
a
those
child
old,
actor who made a lot of money.
Right, but he was in all the John Hughes movies.
He was, right?
Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles.
Right.
He's a great actor.
And was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, on Saturday Night Live.
Right?
Yeah.
And he did a good job as a kind of a bad guy.
He was
with
good.
I
don't want to say people are still watching maybe.
Okay,
but
so
it's really good.
Reacher to me has become campy.
It is.
Like campy fun.
Yeah.
Because he's so serious. And
he's almost like an android.
Right. He's like an android.
It's like
he always has a love interest, except there's no way he's ever going to fall in love or stay.
He's a loner. He's got to keep going.
He's the Lone Ranger. He's going to move on to the next town and the next crisis, the next fire to put out.
Like High Plains Drifter, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. But the woman who played his she's a cop and love interest.
She's pretty.
Was really good.
Yeah.
She was pretty. She was, like you kept saying, Ally McGraw-esque. That's probably before your time.
No, and the other one that was married to Jason's, Angie Harmon. She looked like Angie Harmon.
Yeah, like that.
Beautiful.
And she was pretty and she was sexy.
Yeah.
And she was believable as a love interest, although she was about a third of Reacher's size.
Well,
but
it's hard to find anybody who would be up to him. I mean, maybe some of those female basketball
they did
players
make love a couple of times.
Yeah.
They didn't show that,
No.
but you knew they were.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to imagine, how could she take him? Like he's so gigantic. Wouldn't he just crush her body?
But he's not that big in real life
know.
because those basketball players are bigger than him.
Yeah. But he's
But
wide.
he just looks so big. That's why I find it hard to believe he's only 6'3". But anyway, back to the show. I think it was great. It was good. It was entertaining.
It was really good. This whole season was very entertaining. I bought it from start to finish. The lines are campy.
Yeah.
They're kind of laughably great bad.
Yeah.
But they're great.
They're really good. I would watch. If people haven't watched it, they would watch. They should.
Great tension in the finale.
Yeah.
Where it kept me on the edge of my chair all the way home. And then it was a really touching scene when it was time for them to part, and she actually gave the parting speech to him that he always gives to the woman.
Yeah, she preempted him, so that was good. I think people should
took
watch
the starch out of his argument.
Wind out of his sails.
Yeah, okay.
I say,
like your cliche.
Thank you. I say give it a whirl.
Thumbs up?
Yeah,
I would give it, I'd give it an A.
Yeah, I'd give it an A too.
All right.
Hazel too.
So a pleasant surprise for us. I had read about it, but we kind of stumbled upon it the other night, and we tried it on Apple Plus, called The Studio, with Seth Rogen and lots of cameos from lots of well-known actors. Catherine O'Hara, Bryan Cranston, and even Marty Scorsese plays himself in this. Steve Buscemi plays himself in this.
Yeah.
And it's
the best show, I think.
Delightfully riveting. It's just, if you care about movies and how they're made, it is so real, it is so behind the scenes, and yet it is so funny behind the scenes.
Oh my God.
It's so well written. Seth Rogen is perfect as this sort of Mr. Magoo character who's just kind of wide-eyed, but he loves movies to a fault and he wants to be out on set. He's the head of the studio and they don't want him on set because he just gets in the way of the creative process.
But he loves it.
But he wants to make movies that matter. And obviously the owner of the studio, Bryan Cranston, wants movies that only make money. That's all he cares about, which is classic
It's
Hollywood.
very real, but
And
it's so funny.
it's so well done that it is
You don't want it to end.
nonstop.
Yeah.
It is, and in comedy, this is what I always say about Anchorman or Caddyshack.
Right.
They're both 95 percenters where they're hitting on 95% of their jokes or their skits or whatever they're doing, where I think that's funny and that's funny and that's funny all the way home.
Yeah.
And in this, they don't miss.
No, it's nonstop.
It's constantly funny.
God.
And
Charlize Theron is in it.
she played herself.
Yeah, but she's in it. It's
briefly.
It's endless, funny, where after the second episode, I wanted more. And there was no
there's
more.
only 2 episodes.
Yeah, they only dropped the 2.
Stumbled into it and then we didn't want it to end.
No.
So we highly recommend it.
A++++.
I'm going A+, just with one plus, because everybody who's in it is great. And the Scorsese scene is all-time classic and worth the price of admission if you don't have Apple Plus, because he does play himself and he does get bamboozled by Seth Rogen.
Oh, my God.
And
it's just, you have to watch
it. It is really classic.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, we stumbled upon this on a night when I was exhausted and we just had a little time to watch.
Yeah.
We usually resort to Jeopardy at this point, but we said, there's this new Travolta movie. We both love Travolta, but we go clear back to Saturday Night Fever. We go back to Welcome Back Kotter.
Yeah, Welcome Back. Everything he's ever been in.
He's just good.
So good.
You know what?
I think he's underrated.
He's a movie star.
He is. He's a real movie star.
And once upon a time, he could really dance.
I think he still can dance.
Dance his ass off. Well, he does that Santa Claus commercial.
He does that commercial.
For Capital One, I think. And he still
has it.
Stuff,
and he looks great at 71. I'm sorry. He looks amazing.
Well, he's a little heavy, but
not that
he doesn't show off his body anymore. But still,
so what? He still looks incredible.
God, he looks incredible.
He
looks scary young.
He still
and still
looks
has presence and sort of that Travolta cachet.
Yeah.
And sarcasm. And okay, so I'm pretty sure they pitched this movie, which probably was made in about 3 days, but I'm pretty sure they pitched it as Ocean's 11 meets Fast and the Furious, because that's kind of how it was. And they're going to rob a casino. They're not really robbing.
What's it called? High Rollers.
High Rollers. Yeah. Okay. So Travolta runs this gang of high-tech thieves.
Yeah.
And it's like Fast and the Furious. Mm-hmm. And Quavo plays the sort of, if you will, he's kind of the token black guy. He's the ludicrous guy in it. And there's an Hispanic guy who I don't really know. Yeah. And then there's this woman, and then she's.
The story is just
speaking
off
of
the
ludicrous.
rails.
It's ludicrous.
I couldn't figure it out.
It is complete and utter silliness. It's almost like they wrote dialogue that was so bad they're all laughing as they're writing it because
it's so confusing.
It's so bad. It's good. It's watchable.
No.
Because we kept looking at each other like, what?
I was so confused. I just went along with whatever they're saying.
Yeah,
I didn't have to figure it out.
They're all actually very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Quavo was really good.
Yeah, he was good.
He took over his role. It's that he's got to be the ludicrous guy.
Right. But Travolta was he was so great.
Yeah, and he carries it because he's in just about every scene.
He's got stature and magnetism. He does. He's a movie star.
Okay, but here's the other thing that she noticed right away, and then I picked up on. Every woman in this is we were just talking about Botox and filler and plastic surgery. None of the women
they don't look real.
They look like
AI.
Yeah, like they're AI generated.
They don't have a line on their face.
They don't have a line on their face,
and
they're all 30-something women.
And their boobs are gigantic.
Yeah.
And
Their
They just
lips
look
are
like
their lips are
the
those
one
kind of
can't
lips
even
where
speak because her
Yeah.
lips are so big.
yeah, the woman
one
on
that-
the team
Yeah.
who
Well,
had
her lip was so
okay.
big. I mean, it was just
her lips were so big she couldn't speak.
no. It was hard for her to
Plumped
speak.
up with
yeah,
filler, right?
yeah. It was just oh my god.
But just to watch these women try to move around, you're like, they're not real. What
I don't
did
know
they
if-
do
I
to
don't know.
themselves?
I guess maybe that was.
But they
wanted to,
but they belong in the casino
Yeah.
because that's the sort of
one
the
had the
casino
low cut
style.
dress on with her boobs up, so
Yeah.
that was I guess for
And
guys.
the unraveling of the plot at the end is so
Oh, and
convoluted.
Gina Gershon's in
Oh,
it.
Gina Gershon,
Who I
who used to
love.
be a hot.
She
yeah.
still looks good. I think
But
she looks
she's
good.
got some stuff going on.
Yeah,
plastic
but
surgery.
she's still
and
good. She still
Yeah.
looks like herself.
She kind of does.
I loved her from way back when.
She didn't have that big a role because she
No,
gets
she
kidnapped,
gets
and then
they
she's
bring
gone
her
for
back
a long
at the
time.
end.
But we were laughing because she's kidnapped. So the guy who's kidnapped her wants Travolta to pull off this heist to get his wife back. And Travolta seems very uninterested in whether
They
he
don't
really
even
gets
care.
his
He's
wife
like-
back. He's like, la-di-da.
He's
Okay, well,
like-
let's see if we can do this.
He's in the casino. He forgot even.
Oh, yeah.
she's
Oh,
there.
yeah. She's,
I
that's
have
right.
a wife
Oh,
that's
yeah.
somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Okay.
kidnapped.
Okay, but every once in a while, there's such a thing as a great bad movie. And
Yeah. It sucks you in.
I'll go good bad because it does suck you in.
Yeah.
But the denouement is so ridiculous at the end. I don't even know what happened.
I don't know how. I have no idea how it played out. I don't understand.
I don't know what it was,
I don't know what the point of it
where
all
it was, why it was.
It was just fun watching Travolta.
Okay, and yet, were you not entertained?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so did they deserve to make millions for making this movie?
Yes, they do.
Did they cure cancer in this movie?
No, and they
did
didn't even
not.
shoot balls and hoops.
No, they didn't shoot balls and hoops. Did they teach anybody anything? No, they didn't teach anybody.
I don't know,
No.
but it was just a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
I don't
thanks
think
to
they
John
got paid as
Travolta.
much as those basketball players, though. Maybe Travolta, but the other, maybe not.
I would bet Travolta got.
Oh, Travolta got the money. He was the headliner. And Gina Gershon.
I don't know how much he would get for something like this.
I
It
don't
was just
know.
frivolous, but would he get?
And then they had the
would he get
director. Was
10
the director
million,
had
5 million?
passed?
Oh,
at the
but
end.
Ridley Scott was
involved somehow.
no, that was the producer.
Yeah, the
No?
producer. Somebody.
I
passed.
thought Ridley Scott. Did he
Was
produce
he involved
or
in
direct
it? I
this?
don't know. No, I don't think he. I
What
don't
am
know.
I
We'd have to go
thinking
back
of?
and look.
I think
Was
he
that another
was.
movie we watched?
I know. I get them mixed up.
We watched
but-
so many. I can't remember.
Okay, final question. This is from Rory from New York, as you say. Not just New York.
So nice. They named it twice.
Skip, last week you said Hazel is a creature of habit. Do you think that's because of how routine-based you are?
The apple
That
doesn't fall
is
too
a
far
good
from the
question.
tree.
Definitely.
Yes, without even thinking. Without even thinking. This is someone that if you move his vitamins from 1 inch to another inch, he
I
already.
go crazy. Like,
Why'd
what are
you
you
move
doing?
my vitamin? Okay,
Okay. So
Hazel,
this little
chip
creature
off the old block.
of habit is the most amazing creature, and I've had a bunch of dogs in my life that I have ever known.
Yes.
She is human because she operates her life via a schedule, via the clock. Because if she's with me in my office,
Yes.
asleep at my feet while I'm either watching a game or typing or doing whatever I'm doing, when it comes 5 p.m., she goes to the door and looks back at me like it's time for
Yeah,
my
She
dinner.
knows.
And if I say, your mom's out right now, she'll
Right.
come back in a minute, she'll get your dinner for you. She kind of shrugs and goes
Right.
back and goes to sleep in her bed because she gets that.
She knows.
Okay? So then when I'm lifting weights here in our home,
Right?
and this is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday sort of
Creature
early
of habit.
evening. She's a creature of habit. She comes and sits in the floor and watches me lift weights. So kind of she positions herself where
Right.
she can make sure you're okay
Yeah.
and the other part of the
Yeah,
house.
she's keeping in between.
She's keeping in between. But she literally knows my sets
Yeah.
down to the last set of exactly what I do on which day.
Yeah.
And it, without fail, when I get to I do my last movement, I do
Right.
3 sets of my last movement.
Right.
It's like for my shoulders, I do these butterfly reverses.
Whatever.
Okay,
whatever.
but
Yeah.
that's how complicated it
Uh-huh.
is. So I'm going to do 3 sets of those.
Right.
She watches, and just before my third set, she gets up and comes over wagging her tail like, you almost did it. You're almost finished. And then when I finish, she gets very excited and she wants me to pet her, obviously.
Right.
She likes to be petted under her hind legs.
She lifts her leg.
She lifts her leg and you say, wheelbarrow, wheelbarrow.
She looks like she's a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, but that's her chakra. She likes that soft part under her leg. She likes to be petted there, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so she's happy for me, but she's happy because I'm going to pet her and acknowledge her. Uh-huh. But she does the reverse on my final set of my chest and back day. She knows my final back set exactly what it is. It's low row pulls.
She's a wonder dog.
Okay, she's a wonder dog, but it's all, she's with my creature of habit.
She is a creature of habit.
Okay,
from you.
She just goes right along with whatever my life is. And today I say, "Are you ready to do your show?" I tell her it's her show, and she looks at me like, "Yep,
she's ready for
I'm
her
ready."
close-up.
She wags her tail. She says, "I'm ready to go." And then when I pick her up to come in here, and she looks at me like, "I gotta pee. I gotta pee first." So I take her to pee.
Yep.
And she pees. She'll pee.
So you don't really need me anymore. Just put her in the chair.
I do need you because you got to feed her and feed me.
That's true. Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
We need you only for
that.
No,
for the show. I was saying for the show.
Oh, for the show. Yeah,
stick Hazel here.
Well, that's actually a good comment because the final comment from YouTube is from Frank Lycan, I believe it is L-I-C.
Lacari.
Oh, Lacari. I'm sorry, I didn't see the I. Lacari. Frank Lacari 50 from YouTube, who says, that dog needs her own show.
There you go.
Bingo.
Drop the mic.
Thank you. Drop the mic.
She's
because
ready.
She could do it.
She's ready for a close-up.
We should allow her to have her own YouTube page or
Instagram
channel or something.
She could have her own Instagram page.
Yeah, she could have her Instagram
then
page.
Then you have to remember there was that dog, the Pomeranian, had her own Instagram page. You have to keep it going.
Feed the beast. Yeah. She's a little too cool. I
don't even do mine that much.
No,
I'm not a big social media person, but
you do
may
read your
be
comments.
interested in it.
Does she read her comments?
She does not. She says she's above it.
Okay. Hazel's had enough.
She's had enough.
She's a little sweaty. I'm a little sweaty.
She needs to sleep.
That's it for round 19. We will see you again next week if we're still speaking.
We're speaking.
She's still speaking.
Peace.